I'm working on this watercolor landscape painting of the village. If you haven't seen the charcoal study, look at the video descriptions for the link. For this painting, first I'm going to focus on strong color and value compositions before I work into the details. I would like to think that all references, they're not perfect. You are going to select something from the reference objectively and also let go some of the things and maybe change them to match how you feel about the scene. Okay, let's take a look. And I'm going to start with from the background. So I'm going to have a little bit about the Windsor blue colors. Very soft, very little. And just going to put it into the background. Doesn't need to be very wet, and it doesn't have to be very even. I'm gonna coming down over here, make it a little bit soft. So I'm gonna have a soft edge for the mountain top line, but at the same time I'm going to see how I'm gonna lay out the whole shape of the village. So I'm gonna have it come up here and all the way coming to this side. I'm gonna leave a little bit for the right side and have the road, the path, and coming through over here, and maybe move it a little bit toward this side, and I'm going to tilt it a little bit this angle coming here, not exactly like the reference will show. And let's see, I'm gonna have those lines a little bit subtle, and as I'm doing this, the color in the top of the water now get a little bit drier now. So I'm gonna start putting a little color over here first, and the first step is very crucial for the painting. It is to get the foundation and actually get the overall composition, the dark color, light color, warm color, cool colors on the page first before you going down to the details. Never get down to the detail before you're satisfied with the composition and with the layout that you're happy with. And get some of the thing I'm definitely gonna modify it, like the texture of on the cliff here. They are going one side going this way, one side going the other way. I'm probably gonna have them moving a little better directions. And I'm just putting a little color over here so that it remind myself for my decisions. And it's going to be much darker when it going down to the next step. Okay. And coming over here, the path that would make it look a little bit better. There's the bridge. Now this is good. Now I'm ready to going to do the mountain here. I don't want it to make it too dry before I going to do that. I'm going to use this probably too bright. I'm going to mix with a little bit red and a little yellow colors that I already have in here. And I don't want it to be too dark either, so I'm going to introduce a little bit more water. Let's see. I'm going to come in here . I want to see how that would look. I'm going to introduce a little bit more red into the color. I'm gonna keep coming down here. Now I already know that this this, I'm gonna move this in the midground over here, it part of the background, a little bit lower on that. But before I going forward to that, I'm gonna make this area a little bit softer because there's a tower coming up here. I want that to be a little bit softer in the area so that the line is not so hard to affecting competing with the tower. So what I like to do, I'm just going to wash that, lift up a little bit colors, have a little lighter, and also soft edge. I don't need that to be so pronounced either over on this side. Just break it. Go with the feeling instead of try to make the object look like the reference. It's not the purpose for us to doing art. Okay, now I'm going down over here. Now coming continue, I'm gonna have a little bit red and yellow colors. Now I have a little warmer color over here and get a little bit more yellow from here. That's good. Now I'm gonna start on in this area so the line is not aligned with the village, the top of the village colors. And now I'm putting down over here, this looks like a little green colors, and I am going to add a little bit brownish colors on this side. And then on here I'm going to have a little bit warmer, a little bit kind of purplish colors, and here you go. Now whatever color you put in get warmer and warmer, actually showing that the space a little closer and closer to the front. That is good for that. And at the same time over here is still a little wet. I would like to create a little bit, lift up a little bit texture, a little bit detail over here. A little suggestions. This is lifting while the surface is wet. The shape is not so pronounced or so sharp. If you want some sharp shape, and then you want to wait until it dry. And also softer in the sky. Now it's good. Now what I will gonna do, I'm gonna switch my attention into the big composition down here. So what I like to do now first, I'm going to have a little bit the foundation color for the roof and also all the houses. They look a little bit warmer colors, a lot warmer. So I'm gonna have more red, and then I don't want the colors to be too wet. I'm get a little yellow and get a little bit blue in here. That will be the color for that. Okay, let's see. Okay, now I'm coming down here. The color for the house is very much similar to the color of the mountain, the cliff. Okay. It's important that you get all the value and colors in place as early as possible. And I'm going to remix this color, get a little blue here. So that's a good color. Again, I'm going to coming down over here. I'm going to leave a little bit gap for this a little bit gate. look at the reference. Pick something that you're going to use to express your feeling. And some of the things you may not really want to keep, and you're going to let it go. And I'm going to see. I'm going to come down to this side. Think more as shapes instead of houses. The shape represent the house. Now, good. Now I'm going to maybe start going into, I'm going to have the green color actually get into the space, but right now what I want to do, I'm going to get some really dark color on this side first. And what I want to do, I'm going to get a little bit more red color, a little bit more Windsor blue, and also get some yellow colors. Get a little bit more red colors. I'm going to have it much darker. So let's see. Get a little bit more water. Now here you go. I'm going to try to create a very strong value composition first. And over here, get a little bit red color and with the yellow color. Let's see. Watch out some of the space. You might want to just leave it light, white. That's good. I think it has a strong compositions. Over here, whether or not I'm going to give it a little bit more details, and I will see how it's going to develop. And at this point, the dark color is already in place. What I want to do, I'm gonna have a little green colors getting in, so I don't need such a big brush. So I'm gonna use this number 10 sable round brush. I'm gonna mix with for the green colors. Okay. And whether or not you want the colors to be so bright, that depends on the way that you mix the color. Maybe the colors doesn't really need to be so bright. In that case, you're going to mix with the complementary colors with the red. I'm going to see whether or not I want it. So I'm going to put a little color over here and put a little green color here. So all I'm seeing is some shape. And over here too. Maybe a little bit lighter because that has some light side. Sometimes you want the color a little bit thicker if you want the color to be showing a little bit, pushing other color away. Over here, I'm going to have a little more pigment. A little bit more yellow. Now I'm trying to have a little bit more blue, so a little bit darker. I'm gonna come here. Maybe too bright, so mix it with a little red colors. Here you go. And now I'm gonna form the shape of the path. Now because the background colors, the last layer is still very wet, so whatever color I put on the paper, it actually become pretty soft, which is good at this point. So I'm gonna see how the color move together. And also, if something you don't like to keep, you also can remove it or maybe adjust it after. This color a little bit too bright, so I'm going to change that to have a little red color in. So this, good. So I'm going to form the pad. So this is the areas that actually in the light side, maybe have a little yellow. It's a little bit too much. A little bit too much of red. So I'm gonna pick that color a little bit better. So I'm gonna have that color mix into it. Now come here to the light side. Yeah, just push a little color in. Okay, it's getting a little better and better. It's good. Now I have the shape in place. Now I'm going to have a little darker of the green colors in the shadow side. So what I like to do, I'm get a little bit more blue colors. And this is kind of green colors, nice. So it's not dark enough. I get a little bit more blue and got a little bit more red. Have a little bit yellow. That's good. Now I'm going to start pushing a little color here. Give a little bit, looks like a little random. And I'll push this little color over here to look at the shadow side of the tree. As we are painting, the color previously that we put on the paper is going to getting dry as you go. Okay. Now, good. Now what I want to do, I'm going to add a little bit color in between those gaps. I'm going to also make other colors also matching to the other side of the color. Maybe a little bit red in here. Doesn't have to be make it all like that. Need to be a little bit kind of matching to the other side of the colors. So showing that actually that a little uneven is a little continuous of the environment. Okay, that's good. Have a little big shadow. Now this is good. I'm going to add a little red into this color. I'm going to have a little bit shadow side of those plants, so it's showing a little bit more a rounded surface. And maybe a little bit over here. All those things to me, they are shapes. The shapes actually composed together to create the illusion of the objects. Now I have a darker color on this side, a little light color on this side. We're going to do a little overlaid colors to have this showing the shadow side of the houses. Now what I am going to do here, I'm going to overlay a little bit color on this side too. Maybe it's still wet, so I'm going to have that wait a little bit. So maybe over here, come in a little. Just a little suggestions. And I'm gonna come back to use this 1-inch flat brush. I'm gonna do a little modification when it's still wet. I'm gonna have this pad coming to this side. So pretty easy to lift up the color when it's still unstable on the paper. Like that. By the way, I'm using the Arches watercolor paper, and it's a little bit harder to take out colors compared to maybe Strathmore or Canson, but it's still, you can do quite a bit of it. Okay, I'm gonna have a little bit texture on this side. Just make sure the brush is dry and just tap on it, and you can lift up the color. And over here I'm gonna have that is the light side facing to the light, with the light coming from the right hand side. Okay, good. Now this is pretty good first step. We're gonna have the shadow side of the bridge too, but we're not gonna do that right at this moment. And maybe time for me to maybe give a little bit of suggestions on this side. Maybe a little bit, not much. So get this a little bit green colors. A little bit green colors. Maybe overlay a little bit over here. Not so much. I'm sure maybe a little bit too bright. I'm gonna see. A lot of suggestions. It's good. Okay. Maybe a little bit purplish colors coming over on this side. I don't want to have too much of texture, just a little suggestions. Okay, it's good. I'm gonna break a little. Okay. I don't want the edge to be so hard all the side. Maybe leave a little bit. That's it. I'm gonna use a smaller brush. Maybe this is number 4 brush. Just give it a little bit light definitions. Maybe that is too strong. I want to have a little softer. They're probably good enough. And now I'm going to switch my attention back to the main space. And I think this is close to dry, and I first going to add a little bit. Doesn't have to be very dark over here. Like that. Have a little catch the shadow, because the tree, I can even make it a little more like that. A couple line more like that. I'm gonna start create a little bit those detailed textures for this first, while everything else getting settled and dry, and then I can come back to work on the houses. Okay, just a few thin line. I'm getting a little red mixed with this complementary colors, which is the green colors. Now here you go. Depends on how warm, how cool you want it to be. And I'm going to just randomly have a feel of those lines. That's a little suggestions. And now I'm going to also come to the other side, give a little bit suggestions on this side. I think that's good enough for that. Okay, now this area is all dry, so I'm good. I'm going to start working on the shadow side of the details. So I'm going to use this number 10 round brush. It's a sable here. It's pretty flexible. So I'm going to see. I'm going to get the color a little bit warmer. Actually, I'm going to mix into these colors. So far, I only use the 3 primary colors. Sometimes I would get other color to help. But for this demonstration for my patron, I want to have it a little bit simple procedures. So this would be a good color for that. So that's good. I'm going to use this color. I'm going to start with maybe from this house. Just looking at the shadow side as a shape. Also, I'm judging whether or not the colors are too dark. We're gonna see. Maybe a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna add a little water, maybe even a little bit blue into these colors. A little bit water. So that actually connect that, the shape connecting over here, and connect that in here too. Leave a little tiny gap. Let's see. Coming down here. And all the shape is going to suggest that actually the things are going on. But for us, the expression is very simple. And I'm going to come here, have another house on this side. And have another house, a little chimney over here too. Now that's good. And the next shape actually have a little bit yellow, so I add a little yellow colors into this mixture. And I'm going to come here, maybe a little bit too dark, so I'm going to soften it. Okay. The root top, we're going to just keep it to be lighter tone. I'm going to expand this a little bit more. So I have this dome. It's right under this house. Like that. Now I have a little small shape over here. Okay, I'm going to keep it moving, and I have a little line over here. A little shape for the chimney over there, another shape over here, and now we keep moving forward, and what looks like I have a little bit more red colors in this roof, and I'm gonna have a little bit more red colors. Here you go. Maybe too much. Just okay. Now we come back here. Good. And then move on. This color, I'm going to go back to the original mixture colors, temperature. Like that. Now, that is shape over here. Doesn't have to be exactly. You try to get the impression. That's the roof over here, and that's the shadow showing there's a house. And over here it has another house that has the roof is pretty long. And has next house in this area. Okay. I can have this house a little bit overlap with this area. Okay, things going pretty well. And now I'm going to expand this shape. But be careful, there's a roof over here, very slow slanted shape. I'm going to show that suggestion. And looking down, this we can expand a little bit of this. Okay. Now we have lots of suggestions here now. And here should have a little bit darker on this side. Maybe have a little bit kind of greenish colors on this side. And I was going to add a little light shade in the middle of here. That's showing that there's two houses actually has two different shapes. It's connected together. But we can come back to do a little more later. Okay. Now we're going to pay attention to the roof. Over here, there's another shape. Now, good. Now over here have the shape. Connect that. And represent. There's another house over there. And this is good. Now I'm going to working into the tower. I'm going to use a little smaller brush now. I'm going to take this color. Let me see. The tower is supposed to be over here. I can move it wherever I need to. Okay. Now coming down here, and I'm going to leave. Looks like that's good. That's the window. I'm going to add a little shape on this side, a little shape on the other side. Okay, now I'm going to time to add a bit of details into the house. And actually everything looks, the shape looks pretty good. I have some enough details now. So I'm going to add a little darker value right here. And maybe a little darker value over here to separate that a little bit better. Make it a little bit more interesting, dynamic. And you can look at it. It looks like a little windows. Okay. And down here, have some shape. Look like the people walking around, walking through this storm. That. And we're gonna get away from the houses for a little bit, and I want to come into add a little colors to the cliff, maybe a little bit brownish colors. So what I want to do is just the yellow with the red and add a little bit blue. So this has blue colors, and add a little red color in here. So I don't want that much colors, so I'm gonna tap tap tap, and I'm going to actually have a little bit dried feeling, maybe a little bit more red. So just use the corner like that. And on this side, I also have a little suggestions on here. Okay, a little bit. Now it's good. Now what I want to do, I'm also going to add a little bit green colors in this area here. Show a little bit. I like this color to actually make the space a little bit more obvious. This, good. We want this tree a little bit more look like closer, definitely closer than the village. So add a little bit depth to it. It's good. So over here on this side too, I give a little bit. In the painting whole process, we are not just painting, look like something. We are more as creating some relationship. A little bit dry brush, and it's good to apply to the objects closer to the viewer, which is the foreground. But you don't want to do much to the distance because that would pull the objects forward. Okay. And have a little bit tree coming up over here. That's good. Shadow side. Now maybe a little bit too much over here, so it's easy. If something a little too much, you can soften it. So, okay, let's see. I do want to organize that a little bit better on this side. I'm going to use a bigger brush. So a little bit. Get the overall motion more I would want to, instead of a little bit tedious. Okay. And now is a good time to have a little shadow side of the bridge. So I don't want it to be too bright. So definitely it's not just the blue, bright blue colors, but have a little cool colors. So this will be good enough. A little bit neutral. So here you go. It's good. Have some catch the shadow. Maybe the top of the bridge is not so light either. So I'm gonna and on the other side, suggesting that actually the shape, even though this is not very light, because all we see is the shadow side. And also we need to give a little bit definitions on here too. That's the bridge, the path coming. Okay. I'm gonna give it a little dark color, but I want to do a little dry brush for the left side, because it's the left side over here is the light side. It have a little bit more contrast. So I'm gonna see. Watch out, you don't want to overdo it. I think it's a little bit too much, so I'm gonna let go some of it over here, and that's good. Now, next thing, oh, I need to adjust that, the edge, the bridge, make it a little bit, actually a little bit cleaner, because right now it looks like have a very little care. That's it. Okay. That's a little better. Next thing I would like to do, I want to make a little dust for the mountain over here. What I would like to do, first, I'm gonna cover this side. I don't want to get the dust into the background area. I may not be even showing the dust in the house area. I'm using this toothbrush. I'm gonna just get those dark colors. Here you go. Give it a little bit even darker. Just the red and the present blue. everything's good. I wash my toothbrush and keep it to the side. Let's see, what else do we need to do? I'm gonna give a little touch at the top of the tower. And just a little light color. A little light color, similar to the light color of the wood top. So I want to do. Probably a little bit too dry. I'm gonna soften that. Yeah. I'm gonna make it a little flat because it's taking away too much attention probably. If your whole attention keep looking at that one object and cannot move your eye away from that, there's a problem with that. So you need to adjust it. So I'm going to keep a little bit details in here. That. A little bit over here. And now I'm also going to tap into a little bit darker details. Maybe something over here should separate. And I have 3 windows like that. Have a little bit coming down, but not so dark. A little bit. That probably did too much, so let go of that. To see what else we need, and down here we need a little darker tone, but not really dark. Okay, that's where I think is where the people are walking through. Suggestions. A little bit. And something over here. We need to clear it a little more. Let's see. I'm going to use this flat brush. I'm going to do a little lifting off, showing that actually going through over here in front of the tree. Okay, that's a little good enough suggestions. Okay, over here has, give a little clear. Over here, I just stop this bleeding of the color. Come over here, soften that a little bit, and maybe over here a little bit, have a little lighter. This is the final adjustment, and you want to focus on how you feel instead of try to royal to the reference. And that's a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna have that out. I want to give a little variations. Maybe not not so light. So I'm gonna tap that on. That's good already. Okay, I'm gonna add a little red color in here. It looks like I needed a little red color. Similar over here, a little red color, a little warmer color over here. Get a little bit yellow colors. Let's say a little bit over here, not so much. A little bit. Over here too, good. I want to add a few tiny shapes, represent some people walking on the bridge. There's a lot of suggestions. Now the painting is finished.